Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EU University Rocket League podcast. Of course, say EU, but we do even talk about CRL today. We've got everything from NSE to NUEL. We've got stats, we've got predictions, and we've even got the weather. We've got our weatherman in today here. Vex, how's it looking for the UK?
UK is looking pretty cold.
Wow, that is true. Actually, checking outside in this lovely morning, you are right. We've even got sports and other news here. That's with Hemi. Hemi, what's going on in the sporting world?
No one cares about sports. We're all inside gamers. Big up gaming.
Okay, that's true. I thought you were going to say there's breaking news. Bournemouth went undefeated this week. Does that surprise any of you?
Hardly a super surprising result, I think. I think actually most teams predicted Bournemouth to sweep and win all of their games, so not the biggest surprise to everyone just yet.
We're just waiting on the mad surprise. We'll get to those in the predictions because we have some very varying ones of them. So taking you back through week 3, which was last week, as you're likely listening to this, it's of course round 1. We saw actually a number of sweeps here. It was Kiel, UEA, Staffs, and Loughborough. They all swept. It was Nottingham, Trent, Durham, Bristol, and Lough B, respectively. Of course, we did not see Lough B beat Loughborough A, unfortunately, as cool as that would have been. That was obviously in the top half of Nationals. I might point out, by the way, just figured, obviously you guys know I would bring this up, but Lancers, they did beat Warwick 3-2. I just want to point that out. You did see that, right? You know, I haven't mentioned that already, right? Right? No, I haven't mentioned that?
No. I don't think you mentioned it, actually. It hasn't come up.
Yeah, so just in case you didn't know, guys, Lancers did beat Warwick 3-2, which meant that Warwick lost to Lancers 2-3.
Wait. Steve, say it one more time.
Okay, so Lancers
beat
Warwick in Game 5, which meant they were surely on to an amazing week and wouldn't be basically out of playoff contention by the end of it.
Yeah, it started so strong. I think when you take down Warwick, you're thinking, oh, maybe we get a 15-point week or something amazing can happen. Yeah. And then what happened to Lancers, Steve? Because you didn't mention that part.
Okay, so Loughborough decided that they still needed to win, and they beat them 3-1 in round 2. So that was okay, because it was still going to be a good week as long as Lancers could beat UWE in round 3. That was a very important game, as the loser of that game whilst could still mathematically make championship playoffs, it would be basically impossible without a lot of help. And a 15-point week today, as you may be listening to this. Unfortunately, UWE decided that they would win in Game 5, but we're not going to talk about that much. Credit to UWE, that was a great result for them, but we don't need to talk about that too much. You know, that was just a sportsmanship play from the Lancers boys. Is what you can expect. Truly sportsman move there. Of course, we did mention Bournemouth were the other team that went undefeated. Loughborough kept their first seed all the way through. I know Portsmouth and Kiel lost in the final games, so they got 12 points each. They both lost 3-1 to Loughborough and Bournemouth, respectively. Of course, in terms of rounding out the top 8, we actually have a member of that top 8 with us here. Bath Salts got to the top 8. It was actually quite interesting.
Glad to be you.
Yeah, it was an interesting week for Bath. Certainly started off interestingly. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Vex, and who you had playing on your account or something.
So I had Breezy decided, because he couldn't play for
True, that
this week, so he jumped
now
on my account. So we got reverse swept by Bournemouth.
Wow.
Which was pretty unfortunate. I think actually, apart from Salford, first team to take them to Game 5. No, it was actually surprisingly, we were surprised because obviously we're all much worse players than the Bournemouth gang, and we decided to go 2-up in a series and then decided to get reverse swept in 1-0 games after that.
Yeah, that was maybe not the smartest moves, but you know, clearly, I mean, we have a screenshot from Discord here. Ward you managed to successfully traumatize Bournemouth by the looks of it. Of course, we have a professional screenshot reader here, which is Hemi, who can quote with some beautiful voices, I do believe.
Oh my god. Not this again, please. Oh, fuck.
It's okay. You get to be Vex's voice. We don't let Vex do his own voice.
That is true. I do get to choose my Vex's voice. That's good. Let's see. Nah, never again. Fuck that. Hardest team so far, Limau. What should we? Steve, what should we do? High pitch or like just really
Definitely
stupid?
high pitch. I mean, Vex is.
Nah, I'm gonna like move away from my microphone so it doesn't peak or anything. Really? Big compliments. Thought we had you, to be honest.
My goodness.
Thought you had us as well.
Clearly, Bournemouth were shook, yet somehow they still went on to have a perfect week, of course, which does put them at the very top of the standings, as we see here, on a tidy 32-point total, equal with Loughborough. Apparently Loughborough still technically first in the position, clearly on reverse alphabetical tiebreaker. That's not a thing. You have Kiel and Portsmouth on third and fourth on 29 points. Warwick decided to be awkward on 28. Then you've got a three-way tie for the final championship playoff spot between Salford, UEA and Staffordshire Bim Bam, all on 26. Still not out of contention, but definitely needing a 15-point week this day is UWE and Essex or Orange County. I will point out that mathematically it is possible for Lancers to make it as well, despite them being on 21 points in 11s. Of course, that happened with the other sort of big round 3 matchups that I don't want to skim over, but all of them were kind of a big deal. Of course, we talked about UWE beating Lancers in Game 5, and that is a big deal. But Bath, you did sweep original hot shots, you know, top of the standings after week 1, Staffordshire Bim Bam. You swept them in round 3.
I think it's a lucky week, honestly. I mean, taking Bournemouth to Game 5 and then sweeping Staffs, it's like, nah, it's lucky.
It's clearly luck.
What do you think, Vex? Huh? What do you think of your performance?
Well, I think it was a really good week, actually. I think the approach to Bournemouth was a bit different because I guess we had to play with probably what other people haven't. It's just no fear, probably a lack of respect, which is something I'm probably quite good for. So it was quite aggressive. Like, I think it showed in our stats. We went for a lot of bumps, and we knew if we tried to slow play Bournemouth, they're technically, like, mechanically much better players than we are. So that would never end well. So we just tried to play quite fast, aggressive, and demo Cloud a lot because like he seems to be like the centerpiece of their rotations, and he's always in the right place at the right time.
So you know where to find him.
Put a bit of pressure on. And then Staffs, I think it's a tough one with Staffs because Staffs, I think, when they're running hot, they're red hot, and when they're stumbling, they tilt quite easily. So it's quite easy to just get in there, maybe play a few mind games, and just play it out, I think, as well. And I think also we've always had a quite good style matchup against Staffs. Where I don't think we've struggled with their passing plays as much as some teams do.
You're basically saying that they played terrible, hence you swept them.
No one said that at all. No.
Oh, okay. And that's what it sounds like. I mean,
no, we're just a far superior team.
Staff's had such a high. Wow, Staff's just came out on such a high this season that I feel like week upon week they've just slided slowly, and I guess they're still in playoff contention, right? But does anyone actually predict them making it?
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah.
There is a little sort of.
I don't think even Skiz has them making it, does he?
What?
We actually know from the prediction sheet that who's predicted who to get into the championship bracket. I believe Staffordshire have a 12.5% chance, according to predictions from the community, to get into championship bracket.
If you round it, of course, Salford had 69% of people saying they make it. A good 87.5% said that Warwick will make it. Absolutely everyone said that Kiel, Portsmouth, Bournemouth, and Loughborough were making it. And yet no one had the outside shots of UWE or Essex making it due to the fact they have to get a 15-point week, which is strange because you also didn't include Lancers A, but I think there was one person who predicted that they'd make it.
I think there was one deluded person.
I think we just ignore that one.
Okay, right.
And we throw Lancers A where they belong in the bin.
Okay, right. So going back to the round 3 matchups that I hadn't mentioned, and that was, speaking of sweeps, Essex, Orange County, they swept UEA. Like, do we have any idea what happened there? That wasn't on stream, so I was like, well, what happened?
I think that was just perhaps it's a really surprising result, actually, because Orange County had just come off a close encounter with Bristol, and Bristol are sort of an unknown quantity still in Nats because they came up for the first time this season, and they've got some good results, but not a team you'd expect the likes of to be pushing, like Switch and George Burke. And then Orange County came off the back of that series and just swept UEA, which is obviously a big shock, I think, actually. UEA, I don't think have been swept by anyone yet. And they've been competitive with any team in the league, really. So it really was a surprise result for me.
It's strange. I mean, it's massive for Orange County, keeping themselves in contention, the same as the series for UWE there. Another one that was in 5 was Warwick Salford, which gives Salford a little bit of a scare. I mean, of course, most still have them making it. Nice result for Warwick, sort of. I don't know, because I feel like if they'd have lost that game 5, because so Warwick won that series in game 5, but I feel like if they lost, there'd have been so many questions about Warwick, because I feel like we can agree that roster-wise, I'd say Warwick are potentially like top 3 in the league. Like, I kind of expect them to fully contend for the championship in general, and maybe they will, but I feel like they've been less convincing than what we'd expect.
Well, I think maybe it comes down to, maybe it's a bit of a whole what we have with Durham right now. Maybe it's just maybe there's a slight mismatch with players, and maybe they haven't blended quite, because obviously it's the first season they've played and it's not been a super long season, so maybe they're still trying to find where Treefork fits into the defensive rotations, and maybe they're going to change up style, because obviously we know Warwick are defensively brilliant, grind teams down. But does Treefork suit that style? He's obviously a player with very offensive capabilities, and he's great to put onto that. But does he just fit in? Does he want to sit back and play defensive for a whole game and then try scoring a counter? Maybe that's not his way.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in terms of the remaining round 3 matchups, we've got, of course, Durham B did beat Lincoln 3-1. Nottingham, aka Jason Bourne and the boys, did beat Trent, so unfortunately for Trent, they lost 3-1. Birmingham continued to look incredibly shaky, the Badgers. They beat Loughborough in 5. And Durham also won in game 5. In terms of UEA, though, it could be fair to say that when they were swept by Orange County, just coming off getting battered on stream by Bournemouth, it might have sort of stumped their confidence a bit,
Yes.
to be fair. I think the other thing I should point out is the promotion and relegation matches. Of course, we had a monster of a game on stream, the Northern promotion match. That was between BCU Blue and Leeds. Leeds had beaten Northumbria, which I say relevant because we were sort of expecting Sheffield to maybe re-promote, but they did lose to Northumbria in game 5. So despite Leeds coming out strong and looking good in game 1, it was actually BCU that came through and ended up winning 3-1, and they looked decent by the end of that series. I mean, game 1 was very messy. I guessed it out. I can tell you it was pretty wild, but BCU could definitely maybe get maybe an upset. I mean, I'm thinking BCU could maybe do good today. I mean, my predictions, I think, show them doing a bit better than I might actually expect, but maybe. I mean, in terms of relegation, it was York and Chichester, which was, I mean, York had an interesting week. Chichester, from what we know, they got swept in all their games, and I think it may have had something to do with Breezy not being there, as of course we know he was playing on Vex's account. So that does make sense now. That does all add up. We're wondering if York just had a nightmare and just died, basically. They lost in game 5 to Sussex, and then they lost in game 5 to Birmingham's B team, the University of Birmingham Beavers, and that relegates them into this week, which is that's a bit depressing. It's a bit painful. Bournemouth Red, however, they promoted back. Sorry, do you want to say something about?
I was just going to say, it does surprise me because obviously they were the 2v2 Cup winners, so they have some really strong players, and you'd think that would be enough to see off even the likes of Birmingham B, perhaps. No discredit to them because they are a good team, but it's just a surprise, I think, to see the likes of Lady Penelope going down to regionals again.
I mean, we have the return of Bournemouth Red. Maybe they will play one of their games this time and be able to field a roster and not just forfeit out. Credit to them to fighting back and getting back promoted backs. Hopefully they can get themselves some results to be proud of. They beat Coventry 3-2 in their promotion match, so unfortunate for Coventry Phoenix. But yeah, as we were mentioning, Sheffield did fail to re-promote, so Sheffield likewise will find themselves just condemned to regionals for this week, so unfortunate for them. But yeah, that's okay. We have our full-on total standings that we've talked about. Curious if we're forgetting anything. We've got our stats, actually. I'm happy to run through the stats if you like to. I'm seeing here. In terms of individual performance, statistically, MVP goes to Crimson, of course, of Loughborough, which is, that's pretty good. I mean, I feel like if all the Loughborough players are performing, and certainly Crimson as well, they are more than championship contending. Like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I see the final being Loughborough-Bournemouth. If Lancers don't make it, of course.
Yeah, I definitely see Loughborough being a much more likely contender than Lancers. But no, I could definitely see. I do expect to see Bournemouth in the final, and I honestly think any of that top four probably could get there. But I think Loughborough might be able to see it out if they play well.
I also see with NUEL later on as well. Loughborough are very consistent. I mean, they are still, they are top of the standings going into week 4, alongside Bournemouth.
I mean, technically they're tied top of the standings in NSE as well. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I thought you were about top of the standings in NUEL, but we actually have NUEL coming up next. That's fair. We also have Ward, of course. Second for individual performance, pretty cool. And Farrell decides to, of course, sneak into the stats, as he always manages to, taking out the bronze for individual performance statistically. In terms of raw goals, that goes to Joel, of course, at 1.38 goals a game. Pretty nice. Kiri, putting up the numbers for Kent at 1.27 a game. And tied for third is, of course, Farrell, of course, and Garanti Mate. Very nice. 1.25 goals a game for both of them. In terms of top assists, it's actually 7 at 1.15 assists a game, which is a hell of a lot. Following just at 1.13 was JTL. Credit to those. And then we have three people at a perfect assist a game, which I've never known how to say his poor name. I don't want to get this wrong. Of course,
it's pronounced Adam G.
No, I'm not. Of course, Adam G and Banter Panda are a lot easier. Which one do you think I was on about?
I believe it's Coach Henners.
Good, because I was not going to say that. What I was going to say was a bit less appropriate. So, I mean, to be fair, speaking of top playmakers, sorry, we're jumping back a bit here, but it was to do with the Warwick point in terms of they're a bit defensive, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they have Gopher as an option, but chose to play with Alice this season, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, no, Alice is obviously a great player, but last season we had the stats, and Gopher was way up in assists. So
yeah, he's far too attacking.
Play. Yeah, far too
he
attacking.
Wouldn't allow him in.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe if they just go for that mad 4-man roster where they just switch mid-series. Is that even allowed? Is that allowed?
I think it is. No, that is actually allowed.
True. Oh, that'd be interesting. A deliberate mid-series sub. When is that going to become normalised? Yeah, that's probably not going to become normalised, but you know. We have top saviour, Misty, Trent, putting up 3.1 saves a game, which is way ahead of Camo at 2.31 in second. And Kazi at 2.08, taking the bronze. And then there's... I mean, that does add up. I remember last time we were talking about Nottingham Trent basically living in their own half last week. I feel like it was probably the same this week. I mean,
Misty is obviously a talented player, so he's sweeping up the pieces.
He's just like, give me another save and another one.
Well, I imagine he's probably playing a slightly defensive role. If you've got Rufy just looking for demos, someone needs to cover that position.
That's true. No, that's true.
Yeah.
So, as mentioned, we do have the NUEL standings following the conclusion of league play. Loughborough are still top, as we said, performing very well, but they are no longer unbeaten. Was it UEA they lost to in round 3, I think, right? So, I mean, what do we say about UEA? I mean, they've managed to get swept by Orange County, yet they've beaten the previously unbeaten Loughborough in NUEL. Do we have any theories about UEA and how they've, like... Are they bipolar? I'm confused.
Are they the same roster between NSC and NUEL?
That's true.
I think they are the same roster.
They are the same roster.
They might. Yeah, I don't know. They might not. I think Queen Scots might not be playing NUEL. I don't know if.
We have some breaking news here, an interjection from God himself.
No, God is infallible. This is very much fallible information. I think I was guilty of playing for them on stream at one point. Queen Scots, maybe in the week we had to prepare this podcast.
And the question then becomes, of course, should that be their main roster if they managed to beat Loughborough in it with NUEL? Or was it a fluke? Or was it even that not their main roster? So many things we do not understand. Conspiracy theories are running wild here at the podcast. We do not know for sure. Please enlighten us. Ring into the show. Please don't. Actually, please do. So third, we have UWE, followed by Lancers. They both have a 9-3 record. Very nice. Just pointing out, Lancers there, 4th in league play, as it should be. You know?
So, obviously, spotting Lancers 4th on the table, this does mean, probably, is NUEL still not considered a Super Series tournament?
I can't believe you suggest that. I mean, Lancers are basically 4th in Championship bracket in NSE anyway. Like, come on, like, nah. I mean,
yeah, times about
for
three.
Me, the thing about NUEL is it's a very well put together tournament. I like the Swiss. I like the opponent map wins percentage tiebreaker. I think it's really cool. But obviously, the participation just isn't as high. You know, we're missing Portsmouth, we're missing Bournemouth, we're missing Kiel. You know, we're missing a bunch of faces that we'd expect to be contending near the top. And you know, when the top competition isn't there, it sort of sets an example, and other teams tend to not either put in as much or sort of show up as much. But it's like, I don't know, for a lot of these university sort of players, I feel like it's sort of you know, I play Rocket League for my university, you know, I show up once a week, and then when you think about that once a week, you think NSE on a Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Twice a week is very different to once a week. It's like it becomes more of a thing that you do rather than just a routine or something you enjoy showing up for once a week. So I feel like in terms of the lifestyle of how players treat university esports, I feel like the once a week is sort of already occupied. I don't know what NUEL could really change to change that. I mean, of course, I'm happy to see Lancaster in 4th. I mean, in terms of redemption, it's great for them. I remember we talked about maybe it could be redemption for Birmingham. Yeah, they're still down in 11th, so it's not happened for them. Staffs will make the playoffs as well, which, as we do know, will be a double elimination, I think, which is cool. They begin this Friday the 27th, and they actually stream every single game of those double elim playoffs, so it's going to take 3 weeks, but it's going to be really cool. I don't know if you like the double elimination format. I think it's certainly going to be different to NSE, so it's going to provide a little bit of sort of
I like a double elim.
Yeah.
I like a double elim.
And we can no longer just expect Loughborough to walk it at least to the grand finals, just because clearly UBA potentially will not even with their main roster decided to beat them. So actually it could definitely be quite a hard one to call, because you don't really know how teams are going to be showing up on a Friday. You know, they might want to be out on a Friday. They might be playing their games drunk. Who knows? It's like, yeah.
We all know the real reason why NUEL doesn't work, lads.
Why
it's just Fridays for the boys.
That is true. You're right.
To be honest, in NUEL's defense, I think actually a lot of teams have been persuaded. Like the quality of streams and stuff has been really impressive this season. A big shout out to Meow for sorting that out. And obviously the prize pool's gone up, so there is a big inclusion. I think maybe looking towards the next season, you might see some more inclusion again. Perhaps like Portsmouth.
I mean,
might field a team.
There's definitely validity in what we're saying, though, in terms of being drunk on Friday. Like, Smokey literally threw up last series.
Unfortunate day to put it on.
Literally, last season, Loughborough won NUEL, and Smokey had to like go and chunder mid-series. I swear, right? That is right.
That would.
Like, he actually, that is, NUEL is won while drunk, so they definitely will play it drunk, because of course, Fridays for the boys. I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention in terms of NUEL there. Of course, our 8 championship teams. I've forgotten Warwick. They're down in 5th, potentially. Don't know what they're doing, but they've made playoffs, so they're probably happy about that. Durham are up in 6th, and Sussex in 7th, which is great for those two teams as well, hoping they can maybe make deep runs in this double elimination bracket, which of course, every game will be streamed, so that's great.
I think one quick thing to note is a team that basically hasn't been seen anywhere in NSC doing quite well in NUEL is the Triple Trebs.
That is true.
Yo.
They are in 10th.
Obviously losing Raf last season. Big loss.
Yeah.
big boots to fill,
not.
But somehow they seem to be doing quite well in NUEL.
Yeah, a 7-5 record is pretty tasty. I mean, in terms of the teams below them, I could certainly see them being them. I mean, the Bath Bombs are down there, of course. That's Bath B. They are above Birmingham, though, but again, Birmingham
that's
are sort of...
A team for NUEL, but not a team for NSC.
I mean, so when it comes to Birmingham, we're expecting them today and from now on to be playing with Crown instead of Tris. There's definitely been a little bit of an internal World War III going on there, I think. So they will appear to be playing with Crown, which is why maybe they are not very hot on people's predictions right now, at least on most people's predictions. We'll, of course, get to that. I don't know.
I think Birmingham did see Salford and they went, yeah, I want a little bit of that. I want that implosion. Let's see.
Just everyone wants a bit of the Salford cake. That's what it is. In terms of side tournaments, we didn't have as many to round up as last week. There was the Wash UK's Uni Random roster tournament, which was pretty cool. I didn't play in it myself. I actually don't have the bracket because apparently it's basically disappeared. From what I know, is that so many of our uni players were so high ranked that they basically got given plat or gold teammates, so they went out quite early. So I don't know how many people sort of saw it into the end. I can say DMAC made it to the semis for representing Lancaster with a platinum teammate who was popping off. So that's pretty cool. It was a nice idea for a tournament. I think it's nice to get the schools involved.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice thing to see for colleges and schools, and obviously it'll be the next generation of uni players, and it's nice to show them early on that actually there are some probably quite high caliber players at university, and there's not a huge scene, but there is a scene for them to play in when they come, so it will be fun. And it's nice to get them involved quite early.
Yeah, we got to teach them early that they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's true. And they might be the academy and they might be up and coming, but Friday is for the boys.
That is true.
Yeah, it does. It is good. Of course, the British Esports Association does run a schools and colleges league, and that is rather good. But of course, we know the next step for them will always be NSE because that is Chad territory.
I remember the really scary thing. It was like the show matches between like schools and universities. I think it was last year, and I think I had to play. I was in second time. I had to play, and we went to game 5. I mean, the only university team to go to game 5 because everyone else swept, and I was so fucking scared. I was shaking game 5.
No one would have ever let you forget that if you'd come in and lost.
A bunch of actual toddlers just beat me. Nah, I'm kidding, obviously, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I do want to point out another great tournament that will be happening. It'll be happening on the 6th of December, so mark that on your calendars. It is Madge's Threes tournament, which I'm hoping to see you all playing in. It's in aid of Meningitis Research, the Meningitis Research Foundation. The proceeds will be going towards Madge, of course, himself climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which is something I tend to do most weekends, actually. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, usually charity causes go to a fantastic, but obviously climbing a Mount Kilimanjaro, that's just a bit easy, isn't it?
I've seen that done regularly.
Yeah.
Just drive long.
I think there's people doing it each day.
Yeah, so 6th of December. 6th of December. That'll be a fantastic tournament.
Write that down. Don't buy any sweets that week, lads. Okay? Don't spend your money on Rock League credits, Put it towards charity, just do something nice for Christmas.
6th of December is a Sunday. It is not for the boys, okay?
Sunday's for God, who we have here in the Discord call.
We've become a much more wholesome podcast immediately. Okay, so expanding our horizons, of course, because we are wholesome, we can talk about Europe as a whole with all European leagues are now pretty much in full swing. Of course, we have except Belgium here, who apparently like being different, which you're listening to this, Belgium. Hi. So pretty much, if you look around, you can find that University Rocket League is pretty much being played every day of the week. You just need to look for it, basically, of course. There's German and Polish leagues are being streamed. I was watching them. You've got Ireland on the same day as NSE. Same for, of course, the Polish league. And I believe next week we're hoping, given that the first EUR Winter Cup, which I'm sure you've already got marked down as the 29th of November, that's 5 days from when we were recording this, which is a huge deal because we need a UK monopoly on the EUR Winter Cups, just Operation Brexit, but on the EUR Winter Cup. We have to win all of them. It's going to be amazing. So hoping to get some guests, of course, so that we can have a very multicultural podcast next week, that we can just talk about how the UK teams all won on Sunday. That would be great. And I don't know if you want to talk about Operation Brexit a bit more, if we should keep some of them details secret, or if we can talk about
definitely secret.
Okay, we're going to keep it secret. Vex, are you down to keep that confidential?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. So we can talk about the qualifiers for the Dutch division, which of course one of the largest leagues in Europe. Effectively, they have an 8-team Swiss now, but the qualifiers for it were interesting. Of course, we have Erasmus Rotterdam. They're chilling again. They've put a different roster in that there's no longer Wizard following for them, but still Kallio, Maxio, and Takarli, if I believe they're new third. Currently on a similar level to Juicy though. They made it to quarterfinals of EURC, of course. They made it to the finals of EUR Summer. So definitely a team we're expected to do well in the EUR Winter Cups until they run into a UK team, of course, at which point they're going to get clapped.
But not Lancashire, because they're going to
okay, right. Yeah, okay. Right.
It's
Very cool.
Teams in the competition,
Yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, that's cool. There's Esports 20. They're a new team, actually, but they have Pime, who plays for MCon. I think it's MCon Orange, but I'll have to double check that for you. So, of course, a very capable player. He's playing with Cuxion and a third who we don't know. We don't have it marked down. If you know their third, please help, because we don't know who it is. But we're expecting them to be great.
His name is 3 question marks, and we've completely misinterpreted that.
That's potentially. But he also plays for Dorans as well, yeah. And Zephyr and Groningen.
And he's the entire roster for Groningen B.
That is true, actually. Actually, no, what you're misinterpreting that. That's question mark, and question mark. Those are the 3 different players. Yeah. So we do have Fair Play Groningen. We got Flux. This is not a joke. Input username is the name. And Elko, which is obviously Groningen, been around a long time. Pretty much a staple of the Dutch and European sort of scene. Of course, they used to have the Coke, Timotheus, and Face roster. This is a completely different roster, but still wouldn't count them out. They've got so much experience as a university. Northern Lions, they're still about, despite their miracle run, Noddy, Sai, and Jordan. Hoping to be entertaining by them as well. You've got the strong face of Smickleware playing with Boogs and King Kong for Tilburg. Tilburg, of course, got that amazing forfeit win over Kit that screwed them over back in EUR. So Tilburg still certainly relevant to consider. My heart goes out, of course, to Dorans, who no longer have Matthias playing for them. So hoping they can somehow pull off miracles, but I would be surprised. Chickenbone HQ, if he's listening to this, we don't have evidence that he's actually playing for Eindhoven, but clearly should be, so we should bully him for that. But in terms of the made upset about the Dutch League qualifiers that I would really like to pull up here is that DSEA Red did not qualify, and they were like one of the favourites for the actual league itself, yet they've managed to not qualify. That's Pluricent, it's 12, don't know how to pronounce that, sorry, and Zazri. It's Stokia, I would think. That's like a fully 1800 plus roster, and they've decided to not qualify. I don't know who was responsible for putting them out, but for us, that would be just outright at the start of the season. That would just be like one of our top 4 teams just decided to not qualify, which I don't know about you, but that's not really ideal, is it?
I'm going to have some sad music playing over this bit, so we'll just take a moment of silence for that.
Yeah, we'll have a moment of silence, actually.
And move on. Let's get number 1 coming this Sunday 29th. We haven't mentioned that already, but we also have the date, is this provisional date, or is it
I think it's the real date.
The real date, okay. For the EUR Winter Cup 2 coming in 13th of December. Yeah, so also write that down in big red pen.
Yeah.
Or Sharpie.
Actually, just write it over the entire of December. Christmas doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course. Nah, it's useless.
Yeah, only the 13th of December matters. That's, of course, 2 weeks after the one on this Sunday. So hoping for Operation Brexit to take full effect there in Europe, stamp our authority on it, and have a very good start to EURC when it rolls around due to winning all the Winter Cups. That will be great.
Small disclosure, we would like to state that our host does not reflect everyone's political views.
That's true, actually. That's true.
We are all hosts.
Actually, that's just become even more confusing. Okay, can leave another gap.
Tyler, the things that Tyler to say has nothing to do with this podcast. He's just an actor. That's covered us with most things, I think. Especially the Lancers A thing actually being good. They're not.
Wow. Lancers are good. Don't put that in.
No. I'm immediately crap. Okay.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, cry about it, bitch.
Okay. Oh my goodness. We can talk CRL. Yes.
Yeah. Move to our friends from across the pond.
Well, and we say we talk about CRL, but it looks like too much talking has been happening.
Yeah, that is certainly fair to say. If you're looking for the context of the discussion, there is a collection of screenshots which I'm sure you can find if you look for them. But we can talk about the results.
We will include them in the description because it is just abhorrent.
But we'll talk about the results because they're much cooler. Northwood actually won the Eastern Conference 4-0 over Akron. Unfortunate Akron. I think the opposite happened last year. But of course, Akron won the Swiss League play quite comfortably, and then Northwood decided that actually they'd just sweep them in the finals anyway. Which, of course, that's Knox's Pirates and Buddy. They actually just straight up recruited to Northwood because they have esports scholarships over there, which is very cool. We're not jealous. We're just pointing it out. We're not jealous. Okay, guys,
not jealous at all.
We're not jealous. No, we're not.
Definitely not just the fact that they have to pay like 80 grand. So.
Yeah, of course, you might know them as Timberwolves. They did make it to RLCS. So a very strong roster there in the NA region, and congratulations to them winning the Eastern Conference. The question, of course, becomes when can we next have sort of cross-server show matches? The last of those was back in February. Of course, Lancers didn't get to play in it, which we're going to blame Films' internet for because that was at full. It was pretty up and down. Of course, Trent were the only team that we had that won their show match, but it was entertaining regardless. In terms of if that were to happen again, do you think our chances are better this time? I feel like they're probably better, right?
Maybe not against Northwood, but
True.
in general, I think we see we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, Northwood might be a different caliber.
Definitely with the sort of the power roster and power couple of Bournemouth coming in this season and just absolutely flattering everyone without even trying.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, you could have Northwood against Berlin, and in theory that should be actually a very good match. Because Germany, of course, mentioning Berlin, is a two-horse race. But in theory, Haas could join that race as a third. They do have Godsmiller and Myth at their university, but none of them appear to want to play. I don't know if they don't have a third. I don't know if they just prefer to typing on Twitter instead of playing. I'm not sure. But it has yet to field a team. So we're calling Germany, of course, a two-horse race between Berlin and Kit. Though, of course, if Berlin play as they should, we very much back Berlin there. Although we should mention Italy in terms of the sort of other nations league, which doesn't sound nice when I talk about it, but it's certainly a nice idea. In terms of, because Italy don't have their own fully infrastructured league for themselves. Sapienza Roma, so of course Rome, they have Lindo, who's a fantastic player. I don't know if he made the most recent regional event for RLCS, but he's certainly capable of it. Fantastic Italian player. So Sapienza Roma, well, if you're running into them as part of Operation Brexit, of course, in the EUR Winter Cup, if you run into Roma, good luck. They are a strong team, okay? I say no shame in losing to them. You're not allowed to lose. UK teams got to win all their games. We've of course got the Polish and Belgium leagues. Of course, we really don't know quite what's going on in Belgium. It's a bit of a mystery. But the Polish league is good. You've got players like Bilbo, Petrick in both of them, so they could potentially see strong teams. Hopefully, they do play in the EUR Winter Cups, which we don't need to repeat the dates for because you've already got them written on your calendar. Of course, it's Sunday 29th and 13th of December. And if we were going to send teams to the EU versus NA sort of matchups, though, which 4 teams do you think we would send from the UK?
I mean, from Europe, you mean?
I mean, yeah, but like, come on, from the UK, we know we'd send Berlin. We know.
So I'd send Bath first team, and then Bath second team.
Oh, Bath bombs.
And then Bath third team.
Harry, you're not even going to put your team in there.
I just said Bath third team, and then Bath fourth team.
Yeah,
clearly
I'm going to have to disagree with that. I think Bournemouth probably a shoe-in.
Yeah.
I think you'd probably also send Loughborough. I feel Loughborough are playing well. And then honestly, I'd wait for the result of EUR.
And who makes the championship bracket? Because Lancashire can still mathematically make it.
Well, I don't think even that. I think it would generally. There's a lot of teams in the top 10 who, on any given day, could beat probably anyone apart from Bournemouth. Right now, that may change in the future with more time playing together. But right now, I think it's a very liquid top 10, and depending on the route you've had in certain championships and stuff, I think.
No, that's fair.
Everyone can beat each other. So I generally would wait on the European competitions to see if there's any superstar European teams, because I don't think there's anyone out and out in front of other people there.
That's fair. Of course, what we were mentioning with the images, which are in the description and you've likely looked at here, is that at the end of the day, Fire and Busser, I would probably pronounce it as that, I'm not sure, maybe it's just Bus, they were banned for their statements made quite understandably, and you may have seen the Twitter drama about it, which of course raises the point, who should be banned from NSE? Because clearly, if we want Psyonix to acknowledge us, we must emulate NA as much as we can. So who are we going to be banning from NSE in the next week? I would personally ban Vex for obvious reasons, due to statements made about Lancers A, who are unofficially the best team, and he refuses to acknowledge it. I don't know who Vex would ban, or Hemi, I don't know.
My ban would probably be just because Breezy obviously played on my account as well.
That is also true.
I would probably have to ban GM for latest saga over current standings.
You do have the feel.
I mean, didn't get it. Sorry, GM. It had to go.
We have Sin here in the waiting room, and I only have sympathy. It's the shit he got for not putting the regional bracket, like the regional standings out.
I think it is probably quickly worth mentioning. Obviously, with nationals, it's very simple to add the points on, but because there's
procedural
a huge amount of teams in the regionals, it depends on a lot more than simply for how many points you took. It talks about matchups and stuff. So there's a lot more that goes into seeding. So it will take some time, and if people are busy, because they do have jobs.
So are you defending him, but also saying that we should ban him?
No, I'm defending Sin. GM banned.
Okay, that's good clarification there. Nice.
Mm-hmm. The person I would ban from NSU would be myself.
What? Sorry, what?
Oh, why
not? Detriment to society.
I just want to see what would happen. It'd be interesting.
But
would you revolt?
What do you mean? I mean,
would Sin do it in a heartbeat?
I would,
probably.
Probably, yeah. That's true. It's true.
I mean, I did turn up for, week 3 last week, late. So we missed round 1 because I was doing other stuff.
Impressive.
We could ban you over your predictions, really. I mean, both you and Vex have Lancers A only getting 9 points. Yet there are so many juicy games that are happening today, even in round 1. I mean, I don't know how you could do that to Lancers A. I mean, really, I'd like you to defend your predictions because mine are so much more reasonable. We're not going to talk about them though.
We're not going to. I feel like we should go through yours first. I feel that's the benchmark. I feel
this is definitely not a benchmark. Okay, right. I'm just going to talk you guys through. I hope you can go to the kitchen, and if you have what you refill your salt beaker from, take it a few beakers, not pinches of salt with these. So we have our opening matchup. I assume these matchups are confirmed. I do believe so. Is Loughborough Durham. I think we've pretty much all got Loughborough there. We do. Hemi has Durham taking a game. I could see them taking a game, but it's not what I've put down. I've got Loughborough taking a sweep, but maybe not. Okay, now this is where predictions start to go differently here, as we do have Bournemouth against the University of Birmingham.
Not sure why they go different.
I can't possibly think. I mean, you both have Bournemouth sweeping that game, and I understand the logic behind that, as I'm sure you understand my logic behind the University of Birmingham taking a 3-2 win over Bournemouth and handing them their first loss of the season. And hear me out here.
We know the context behind why you've chosen to do that. And you are disgusting.
No, we don't.
Your sporting integrity is going on the drain.
Now, think about this, right? Bournemouth, they have basically nothing to play for, right? They're chilling, okay? Okay, you could argue Birmingham had nothing to play for as well, but actually you could argue they have nothing to lose. And, they've got unbeaten weeks with this roster with Crown before, and it is so unexpected that it would happen, which is exactly why I expect it to happen. University of Birmingham taking it in Game 5 and Bournemouth getting slapped in the face, thinking they've escaped their embarrassment at the hands of Bath this past week, they're actually going to be switched off, and Birmingham are going to be the ones that give it to them. In other news, I've got Portsmouth sweeping Nottingham, as much as that might upset me. You have Nottingham taking a game, Hemi, again. You seem to be more partial to the 3-1s. I've got Kiel.
It's the thing of, the top 16, all of them are very good teams. I think they can take a game,
And Jason Bourne
Soups
can
are
pop.
very extreme. Yeah. The Soups are very extreme.
I've got Kiel sweeping Durham-B, the Skeebs. But Vex has them taking a game. So, Vex is clearly much more of a fan of you than us. We clearly hate Durham-B. You've then got an interesting matchup in round 1 between somehow 5th seed Bath and Lancers A, who for some reason are 12th seed. I don't know how that could possibly
somehow
happen.
12th seed. I mean, they should be like 20th.
Now, I've obviously got Lancers taking out 3-1, whereas Hemi and Vex have Bath taking out 3-1.
1 second. Look at mine again.
Let's see, Hemi's. Oh, he's got Bath taking it. He's updated to Bath winning 3-0.
Sweeps, after saying sweeps are harsh.
Yes. Okay, right. We're going to move on from that. UWE.
I think it'll be a very close series. I was going to say, I think that'll be a very close series.
Very juicy matchup is UWE against Staffs, of which both teams, if they want to be making to championship bracket, they have to win that series, basically. I've got UWE.
Both win it.
Yeah, exactly. That is how series happen, unfortunately, which is why you will be losing to Lancers. But UWE, I have taken that 3-1. In fact, I think we all have UWE. Yeah, we do. Amy has it in game 5. So Staffs, the doubt is fully on your shoulders, but maybe they can, just rise above it, Rise above the hate. They can rise above the hate and have another mad week. It's certainly possible. Certainly possible. And it's going to need to be. They're going to make that championship playoff. We also have another juicy Tropicana matchup. Other juices are available between Warwick and UEA. I've got Warwick taking that in game 5. So does Hemi, but Vex, you have UEA taking it in game 5.
I think UEA are going to step up. They need to win to make the championship, and I think they'll do it. I do think they'll do it. But I also think it's worth noting that it's a horrible second game for whoever. Well, it's going to be Badgers when they lose to Bournemouth, despite what Steve says. Badgers then have to go and face either Warwick or UEA, which I think is a horrible second week, and they may be pushed immediately into round 3 without too much hope.
Yeah, that's fair, but or they just beat Bournemouth and they can be completely fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Badgers will be fine. But the last of the super juicy upper national matchups is, again, I have another game 5. It's between Orange County, Essex, and Salford. Now, I know Orange County have a terrible record in Game 5, but for some reason I have them winning in Game 5, and so does Hemi, and so does Vex. We actually have a unanimous Game 5 victory for what I'll be thinking. I'll be mad.
I think Orange County have just improved, so I think realistically, I think they've got this. And Salford are obviously very impressive, but it does depend. I think George Burke and Switch are very good players.
That's fair.
It was also interesting to see as well in the NSE general chat. Very early this morning, Switch has had Orange County going 3-0 unstealing it from someone's grasp. Also, everyone predicted us to go 0-3. I hope you spill the milk from your cereal in the morning.
That's low. Like, something you say about people, but you don't say that.
Talk.
You don't say that. That is completely unacceptable. Actually, that's a ban. Maybe we should.
I think that's our second NSE ban.
True.
I would also like to point out that he has not predicted himself to make playoffs. Despite all of this.
He's trying to mentally trick it, right? It's actually a mind game, a self-mind game, a mindset trick. That's actually big brain. It's a lot harder for us to track what we predicted for respective matchups because at least certainly mine, matchups got very different to yours as the bracket went on. So I'm just going to paint a picture of what went on. I'll quickly skim over my results. I, of course, have Lancers beating Portsmouth in Game 5, as my results would happen. Kiel beating UWE. Bournemouth do beat UEA. Got Badgers beating Essex, because mad week for Badgers. I got Warwick beating Loughborough in Game 5. That's quite a likely round 2 matchup. Of course, it's going to be Loughborough against winner of Warwick versus UEA, so that's going to be juice regardless. It could be innocent juice because other brands are available. I then got Lancers facing up against Warwick in round 3 for the 15-point week, which of course Lancers win. 3-1. University of Badgers, despite their miracle week, they are actually going to lose in Kiel to game 5 as my predictions.
They take down Bournemouth but lose to Kiel.
Yes, I've got that, because remember I say I need my predictions to be realistic here. Now, whilst Birmingham
Slash,
are
when you say
unfair,
that, you mean
Yeah.
Lancers into the top
no,
6?
we'll get to how the standings shape out. Portsmouth end up beating Salford 3-1. I've then got Bournemouth beating UWE 3-1. Loughborough beating Nottingham, and Bath, of course, getting swept by Essex.
Wow.
No shock there. Which, of course, leaves me with the... I hope we can put a screenshot on screen here of my beautiful, the best case scenario. The scenario, the best timeline, I think we can all agree, which ends up with winners for the first time ever of NSC League play on 44 points is Kiel, followed by tied 43 Bournemouth and Loughborough, then tied 40 Warwick and Portsmouth, and then into championship bracket Lancers A on 36 points, with somehow missing out Salford 35, Essex and UEA on 34, and then down on 32 UWE and Staffs. Birmingham make it to the 30-point club and kick out Bath.
The thing is,
I genuinely would love that to happen.
It would be mad.
This is basically, how in Endgame or not, in Infinity like that, there's one future out of 14 million where we win. This is basically that, except it's not gonna happen.
This is the one.
this is not the timeline.
I believe. Look at that on your screen right now. Tell me that would not be the most incredible scenario.
It would be an amazing result, and I
can't wait for literally the first game of playoffs for Lancers to get completely swept and fucked.
Yeah, it'd be Lancers Loughborough in playoffs. Like, things are perfectly imbalanced, as they should be. That's just how it is. I mean, look at go through your final standings as they work out there. I mean, these are just terrible. I mean, yours are quite similar, aren't they?
I mean, I think that it's the standard one, isn't it? I think for the end of my standings, I've got Bournemouth finishing deservedly top of the pile. Then I've got Loughborough in second. I've got UEA making it, actually. With Kiel on 41, and then I've got Portsmouth at 40th, and then I've got Warwick taking the final spot over Salford and Staff. So I don't see Staffs making a surprise burst, and I think Salford are just unlucky not to. I think they've actually had a couple of rough weeks in terms of matchups. Seeding's not done them too many favours.
Yeah, for mine, I've obviously got Bournemouth taking a 15-point week. Don't really expect too much trouble there. But I've got Portsmouth actually taking the perfect week as well. Tying them with Loughborough, who I've predicted to get 12 points at 44 points. Kiel, team 7, a 12-point week as well with 41. And then rounding up the last two spots, which everyone has sort of contentious opinions of, I got Warwick and UEA, which I think...
I see, that's fair. I mean, none of us predicting...
Actually, what is in terms of yours, Hammy? You've got UEA and Salford join. What are the tiebreakers on that?
I don't.
I think Salford win the tiebreaker.
I just ordered them based on the final total, and it seems that they put UEA above Salford.
It's basically just the gift from
the Hangover. Get a DM from Sin telling us whether that is.
It's the gift from the Hangover right now. We're working out the calculations, the integration.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We need to do the calculation. I might point out that, interestingly, none of us predicting Orange County or UWE to make a late run and sneak in. Bearing in mind that a 15-point week will pretty much do it for them. They need a lot less to go in their favour than Lancers do.
Although, to be fair, I think your bracket is just fucked. It's not right.
Okay, right.
I think Orange County, they've just got Bournemouth in the middle of their run, which is unfortunate. If they'd gone into any of the other weeks, might be able to any of the other middle matchups, we might have been able to predict it.
Oh my!
I didn't do the tiebreakers. I just ordered them by total points.
Salford would make it in. That's interesting. Yeah, but they do tie on week 4. 11, yeah. Which is Salford.
Which was Salford
my
higher.
Goodness gracious me. Mad.
Straight.
Okay. Yes. I need to work out. Is it?
Shit.
They did take them to game 5 before.
I've just discovered.
Well, and that's it. UEA need to beat Warwick to start. Otherwise, it's basically... Not basically over, but it could be very much over.
I've just discovered something hot off the press. You might want to look to the copy of my sheet. Okay, now this requires Salford to both lose to Essex and then lose to Durham, but I needed to see if it was possible because I hadn't actually checked. But there is a scenario in which Bath Salts made championship playoffs. I put it on screen for you now, just in case it happens tonight. You saw it here first.
Wait, what is this? Bath win.
It is possible.
So Bath need the 15 week.
Of course.
Who needs to lose?
Basically, what has to happen is Salford have to lose to Essex and Durham. That is the major thing. Whereas Lancers basically just need Essex to beat Salford. They don't need the second win. They just have to make sure. Yeah.
So Bath need a 15-point week,
So,
and
basically,
UEA
if you
need to lose as
if
well.
you assume that Essex beat Salford, then it's pretty much in Lancers' hands. If they get a 15-point week, they can do it. But for Bath to do it, they need Essex to beat Salford, and then Durham have to beat Salford. So Salford, if you're hearing this, don't screw up, or else Bath and Lancers might make playoffs.
Actually, you save us, but Salford have a history of helping us out in terms of losing to us in EUR as well, so we can go through. Like, they've done some very generous things in their time.
This would I
haven't predicted it. I don't see it happening.
I'm just looking at this table.
More realistic.
I'm looking at this genuinely mathematically possible result, and I just don't know what to say anymore. I don't know if there's anything that can be said after that. Like, what?
So does that mean you can't predict Lancers to actually get top 6? Because
I mean, of course I can. I mean, that's my flat out prediction. But this copy of Bath making
we can't
top
stretch
6.
it to Badgers getting through, can we?
No. Actually, no.
How about we leave the thought experiment?
They can't. It's literally not possible. They can get 30. There's 33 points, and there are like 3 teams that can basically not get less than 30. Okay, let's try it. I'm just trying.
God's sake.
Oh, you could probably have ended the podcast before this.
It's okay.
No, this is interesting.
I don't think it is.
Okay, maybe not.
Oh, this is right. They'll never win the tiebreakers, dude. Wait, no, I need the 8 pointers. Salford and UEA need to get less. No, it's not possible. Oh, so we need Salford to also lose to Nottingham Trent. Okay, so there's that. Let me update that. I think it's possible. I actually think it's possible. So
here we go then. So University of Birmingham will sweep Bournemouth.
I need to... No, actually, I don't know if it's possible to get Bath to get less points now. I mean, no, it is. Yes, it is. Oh my god.
We've done it.
Dude, Bath 12. And Warwick 15. This is... Okay, and Essex... Oh, wait.
Essex too much. I don't think it's possible.
No, Essex lose to Lancers is possible.
Then do Lancers get too many points?
No. Lancers definitely won't get too many points. 11. Yep, easy. Look at that. Perfect. Dude, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. UEA. How do we kill UEA? We just get them to lose to Kent. Oh my god.
Yep. Are they getting relegated?
Yeah, it is.
You've just relegated UEA for this prediction.
Yeah, I have. Okay, so where is Kent? Let me just update that quickly. Where have I found Kent? Hold up, where have Kent gone?
Kent.
Oh, they're way down here. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So we have
Our
a
most likely scenario this week.
So we have a quick update for you guys, and it is on your screen. We have just checked this. I have not gone insane. I just want to point it out as a public service announcement that this is a possible scenario. Yes, it involves Salford and Kent both getting relegated from upper nationals, losing Salford and UEA. Salford and UEA both getting relegated from upper nationals, which would involve them losing to Kent and Trent in final rounds. They lose all their games. University of Birmingham get a max point week. It is mathematically possible for Birmingham to make the championship bracket, and yes, it does involve 7 teams finishing on 32 points. Yes, it is. That is 7 different teams finishing on 32 points. You could say that the results need to go in their favour. I would say that's probably true. But I just wanted to leave this scenario with you guys before the games are played tonight, as in our deepest nightmares, this may indeed happen.
I doubt it, but I would love it.
Are we done now with this?
I think we're good.
We're done with that. We fell deep down the rabbit hole, I think.
I think there's enough thought experiment for one episode. So, thank you all very much for listening. Best of luck to all teams here in upper nationals and in regionals. You guys still exist. But yeah, best luck today, lads. Enjoy the rest of your week. Also, don't forget, EUR Winter Cup. What day was it?
And Magic Charity Tournament on the 6th.
And Magic Charity Tournament on the 6th, yes. So please do keep those in your diary. Look forward to them, and we shall see you next week. Bye.